You are welcome to Spot On with StephREDD.
How are you, StephREDD, today?
I am fantastic. In Spot On with StephREDD, we talk about different topics, just different issues.
There's a form of artist in everyone.
I love to be very independent.
And the recognition of the genius that we are and who we are.
I sound very smart, but I have zero education.
I always learn something from everybody I work with.
To see how we can raise new perspectives and, quite importantly, be able to progressively evolve with the fullness of who we are, the fullness of our genius.
When you are living a fulfilled life, that means that's the feedback loop that you are on the right path.
When you can give value to someone, that's your greatest gift to the world, and that's when people will listen to you.
And then begin to impact our world with that genius, one person at a time. Today I have a genius with me. Sarah is a phenomenal young lady with such an empowering story. And just to talk a bit about her, she is the kind of person that you would call an embodiment of resilience. And she once thrived on a beautiful job which she considered gift because it aligned with her passions. However, life decided to take her on an unexpected turn when she was faced with the challenges of Bell's palsy and stroke. Nevertheless, despite this setback, Sarah navigated the curve through the hurdles of recovery and witnessed both the highs and the lows of Bell's palsy and stroke. Nevertheless, again, this transformative journey helped her to begin to reevaluate her priorities, and this led to her leaving her previous job and exploring other opportunities, which gave her the avenue to find solace and inspiration in the realm of acting. And there are so many more things that Sarah does. Her story serves as a testament to everyone, a testament to strength, to adaptability, to resilience, and to the pursuit of fulfilling life beyond adversity. Sarah, you're welcome.
Hi, StephREDD. Thank you so much for having me here.
It is an honor to have you. Thank you for honoring the invitation. And I'm just going to jump straight to it, Sarah. So I've read a bit of your bio, but I would like to hear from the horse's mouth. We've had a lot of chats before going live, and just hearing you and the vibrancy in your voice and the vigor in your personality, I'm wondering, Bell's palsy and stroke, how? Tell us, me and the viewers that are going to be watching, about Sarah, and somewhat infuse the journey. How exactly, with all this vibrancy I see, how did Bell's palsy and stroke get into the picture?
So, hi everyone. Hi, StephREDD. Once again, thank you. And so, I am a very vibrant person. I love to have fun. I love to be very independent. I am very independent minded. Yeah, so when I was down, it really affected me because now I had to be depending on everyone around me to make things happen, which is not in me. I am a makeup artist. I'm a dancer. I love to dance. Oh my God, I love to dance. I love to do salsa. Ooh, I find it so sexy and amazing. And then I love to sing. I'm a singer, and I love to go for karaoke. Like if you don't catch me working, if I have to hang out, I think karaoke is just the best thing for me. It's either I'm going for karaoke or I'm going for salsa, so that just happens. Yeah. And I love to travel. I used to say if traveling were for free, trust me, I'll live in a caravan, so I'm just on the road all through. Like I don't need a house. I don't need to pay no house rent. I just need to keep driving and going and going and just experiencing life and the world and everything. And I love cooking. I love food. Ooh, I'm a food critic. I would call myself that because if you give me food, I have to be sure that I hope it's good enough for me to eat because I feel like I cook so well. So you just have to do the right thing and give to me. So I hardly eat out because of that. I don't know. I think it's bad. I don't know. But then I love to cook. I love to play with food. I like trying new things. And yes, I'm that person. And sometime in 2019, I woke up this beautiful morning. Yeah, on the 10th of November, precisely about this time of the year. Yeah, I woke
Oh,
up and
wow.
yes, about this time of the year. So it's a very significant period in my life. And man, it's very significant for me. So about this time of the year, I woke up this morning and I was brushing my teeth and I realized that somehow things were just peeling out of my mouth, the left side of my mouth. And I'm like, what's going on here? I didn't take it too seriously though. So I just look like, what happened? And ignored it. And then I wanted to eat. That was where it hit me. Like I realized I couldn't open my mouth freely. You know, you just open your mouth and you eat. And it just happened that that wasn't happening. I was struggling to open my mouth. And I'm like, okay, this is serious. I need to look at this. So I took a mirror and I looked at myself and I'm seeing like I'm trying to open my mouth. It's shifting to one direction. Everything is just going weird. And I could not recognize this whole movement. I was like, okay, Sarah, stay calm. I had to look around me and like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Because at this point, I didn't want to freak out. Yeah, I didn't want to freak out. I somewhat had an idea of palsy, but I did not know this is it, and I was experiencing it right now. So I had a colleague who had dealt with something like that. So when it was coming, it wasn't so strange because at least I had seen it and I'd seen pictures. But you know, when you see pictures and you feel like, I mean, it only happens in the movies. It only happens in the pictures. I mean, this is you live experiencing it. So that hit me first. And I was like, no, this can't happen. Then I started imagining myself looking like that. And then I went straight to Google and I started checking on pictures online and then I described how I was feeling and boom, I saw it. I'm like, no, this can't be my story. I said, no, this can't be my story. This can't be happening to me. Okay, yes, it did. And I now called a nurse and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm experiencing. And she was like, girl, if you like yourself, run to the nearest hospital. And I'm like, okay, if a nurse is telling me this, then there's no need to argue. I can't be fighting it. I just have to do what is. So I quickly ran to the hospital. When I got there, I got there and the doctors were, I'm sorry to say, I was, sugar. I was really disappointed by the doctors. Now, this is a private hospital in a very serene environment, in a very correct estate. So there's supposed to be that, you have that thing naturally that these guys are dope. They are professionals and they know their job. And now these people were looking at me and guessing on me what's going on. Imagine that. I am not a doctor. I'm not a specialist. However, I'm able to figure out what's going on. Doctors, professionals, this is your field. And you're guessing on me what's going on. And they were now having a debate. Two of them. They were debating on what was happening. Like, do you think, no, this other one is like, no, I don't think it should be this. Ah, they're guessing on me. They are not sure. Hey God, I'm the one now telling them what's going on. And they're like, oh, why are you worried? You're a fine girl. You're going to recover in just a few months. I mean, give or take 3 to 6 months, and you'll be okay. Your face will come back naturally to itself. So don't worry, just go home, hang out with friends, have a drink, relax, enjoy. And I'm looking at these guys like, are you guys kidding me? This is really your professional take. This is your advice. I come for, I mean, diagnosis, and this is all you have to tell me that I'm freaking out for nothing. I'm bothered about nothing. Like, why should I be worried? I should just go hang out. I'm a fine girl. I mean, I will recover in just a few. Oh God. Do you know, they said, okay, I should
How
take,
did you eventually discover the diagnosis? Sorry, darling. How did you
so
eventually discover the diagnosis?
So I had to, I aside me doing my own research because they were not forthcoming in any way, I had to start researching, and then of course the internet is always there to help you out with certain things, all of these things. And I got every information I needed online, and then I decided to seek the help I needed. And you know, when I went back to this hospital, these people told me that it was on our HMO platform, yeah, where I was working was on our HMO. So it's assumed that they are it, you get. So I went to I came across a lady. Someone introduced me to her. They gave me her number to go to call her, and that was how she's a physiotherapist. Now let me tell you the funny part. When I went to the hospital, like, okay, can you guys recommend someone that can really attend to me? They told me to go see a gynecologist. A gynecologist for nerves. I should go and see a gynecologist for a facial problem.
Wow.
I should see a
Not a
gynecologist.
neurologist, a
Not,
gynecologist.
do you get? So that's the first throw off.
That's interesting.
A gynecologist.
Wow.
Yes, that's
Wow.
what they recommended.
For those that may not know what Bell's palsy is, I'm just going to quickly read off a definition of what Bell's palsy is. So, it's a Bell's palsy is a condition that causes sudden weakness in the muscles on one side of the face. In most cases, the weakness is temporary and significantly improves over weeks. The weakness makes half of the face appear to droop. Smiles
Yeah.
are one-sided and the eye on the affected side resists closing. Tell me, when you were going through all of this, because I see Bell's palsy and stroke, how exactly did stroke get into the picture?
How stroke came into the picture, I can't explain till today. But stroke came in, and I was down. And so, okay, now I'm a makeup artist. I use my hands. Basically, where I was working as a makeup artist. All of a sudden, I couldn't hold nothing. If I hold anything, this is how I was constantly doing. I was constantly shaking like that. Like I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't hold anything. And that really broke me because I was like, this is what I do. So how do I work if I have to work? Because this is not happening anymore. I couldn't do nothing. Like like within the space of 1 week, I was a shadow of myself. Like I looked at myself, I hate the worst thing I could do was stand in the mirror. Like I hated to see myself because it just reminded me how terrible things were. And each time I looked at myself, I got more depressed and broken. Like I was I was just a complete stranger. I did not know who I was seeing standing in front of me. It wasn't that person I knew myself to be. So I was broken from the inside out. And then in the course of this, January came, February, March, and then the lockdown came in 2020. And then in the course of this lockdown, while I was home, I went deaf.
Wow.
I went deaf. So I'm just sitting in the house, in the room, and the next thing I heard, it was like, you know, when you go to swim, that water effect. That was
Yeah,
just the
that pop, what, yeah.
exactly. That was the feeling I had in my 2 ears at the same time. Everything just went blank. And now to even make things funny, throughout this period of Bell palsy, I'm dealing with this. I don't swim. I don't pour water in my head because I was avoiding water on my face because I can't close my eye. So if I have to wash my face, I mop it because I couldn't close my eye. So there's that fear that I could put soap in my eye. So my face was very, should I say, it was a very delicate place right now. So everything I did with extreme care because I was avoiding having to put anything on my face that would disturb my eye because I couldn't close that eye. So the doctor said, don't pour water, don't do. I did everything righteously because I just didn't want it to be that, oh, they said, don't do this. And I did it and it caused more complications. So water, having that water effect, I just don't know where it came from. I just went deaf. And at this point, if I couldn't tell anyone in my house, because at that point I felt like, oh, there's just too much drama all around me. Something else. I couldn't just handle it.
And this was 2020.
In the course of the lockdown, I went to the hospital several times. They were not attending to me. I tried to see an ENT a specialist, and they were not attending to me. It wasn't possible. However, throughout this period, I think the things that kept me going was family and friends. You know, I have a family that is super supportive. We support ourselves in every way possible. Like, it was so amazing. I think their support made me fight back, because when I looked around me and I saw just how much support they were giving to me, and how much it affected them. Even if they were not feeling the pain directly, yeah, they were feeling it indirectly, and it was still pain. And I was broken seeing them having to go through all of that. So for their sake, I had to keep fighting. I never gave up. And then I had a colleague who was like, oh, she was super amazing. Like, I love her. And I mean, I hope I'm permitted to call her name. Omomi is her name. She always told me, Sarah, don't give up, because if you do, you're letting them win. People die because they give up. Sometimes people die not because the illness was so strong and it made them die, but because they gave up on themselves. So don't give up on yourself. We believe in you. So those, like, there were times that I would stay back, and I'll ask myself, why all of this? Like, it was like back to back. Everything was just happening wrong, wrong, wrong. It was just going from bad to worse to worse to. I was just, oh my goodness. I promise you, I used to be a size 12. I dropped to size 6, from 12 to 6.
Whoa.
That was how
Whoa.
skinny I looked. Yes.
What exactly was making you lose weight? Was it the anxiety, or were you thinking and then you were
Oh,
not eating, or what exactly was it that made you drop
I
weight?
couldn't, I didn't have appetite to eat. That's one. I couldn't eat. And yes, I was thinking a whole lot. Like, I became like a vegetable. So coming out from being a
Tell me
vibrant
as well. So,
person,
yeah, yeah,
coming out from
yes,
being
and
this
that is the
independent
thing.
person, it now became
Yes, and
something that,
suddenly seeing yourself. Yeah,
yes,
go
yeah.
ahead.
So it really broke me. I was really broken. And then I couldn't eat. I wasn't eating. I had no appetite. You know when you know chloroquine. Have you ever tasted chloroquine drug?
Of course, that was what we typically took
Yes,
for malaria growing up.
exactly. That was what food
It
tasted
leaves a
like.
bitter taste for a long time in
That
your
was what
mouth,
food tasted
in
like.
your palate.
So if I have to
Oh
eat
wow.
food, that was a constant taste. So it was like punishment. If you have to make me
Wow.
eat, it was like punishment. I'd rather not eat than go through that.
You've talked about the ordeal now. I'd like you to share about the healing journey. And I'd like you
Yeah.
to cast light on the how you decided what exactly it was. What were the things that you did to begin to rise out of the rubble? So one of the things I noted here was, and it's what I'm also going to throw out as an encouragement, which what we typically say, find a community, a support
Yes.
system. You
Yes.
said your family is a strong support system, and they helped
Yes.
you to even begin to fight back. And that your friend
Yes.
among me that said, "Don't give up."
Yes. Yes.
It's fantastic to have a support, because what typically
Yes.
happens when such a thing happens to people, you find out that they become solitary,
Yes.
and solitude makes you to focus more on what is going wrong.
Going.
And when you don't
Yes.
have you're not hearing the right voices, the
That's
right
right.
words of encouragement, you begin to
That's
sink. So
right.
tell us about, what was it like starting your healing journey? I mean, it wasn't long ago. This was
Yeah.
2019, we're just in 2023, so that's 4 years ago.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
we started off this podcast by you saying that, oh, you're very vibrant, you love to dance, you're back to all of these things, and you're acting and
I'm
all of
back
it.
to them.
At what point? Oh, fantastic. At what point did you between 2020? There was
Yeah.
Bell's palsy, there was stroke, there was deafness. At what
Yes.
point did all these three disappear, and how? And how did you
Okay.
now pivot or evolve or
Into
reintegrate into the things
yeah.
that you used to do before?
Okay. So Bell Palsy lasted. Okay. Bell Palsy lasted till about 2022. I was still that person. That really okay. That was how I started off with wearing shades. Yes, that was why I started wearing shades. Yeah, that okay. So I used to be a lover of shades. I used to collect shades. When I go out, I see it. My best friend then, she's late now. When she loved coming to my house because she knows that I have a lot of shades and she loves to wear shades. So she comes to get them. She knows I love to collect, but I won't wear. So it was more like I was collecting and keeping for her to come and take. So she come and take them, like, but you don't wear them. But I just loved getting them. So when this happened, I needed to always wear shades because then the first thing you see is one eye is so massive, the other one is so tiny. It just made my other eye look so big, like I had really big eyes, and this other one just looked like one full stop. It was like a full stop on my face, and then I'm like, ooh, so what happened? Why do you look like this? Oh my goodness, that was so tiring. It was exhausting having to always explain to everybody on a daily basis why my face was the way it was. And then when you're talking, people are looking at you and looking away. I went to the hospital once and I was talking. The nurse was like, "Oh, I'm giving her attitude that I'm talking and twisting my mouth." And I'm like, "No, I just recovered from Bell palsy." And she looked so stupid
Oh,
because everybody looked at her.
wow.
Yes, imagine a nurse not knowing this. Nigeria. Okay, so she looked at me and she was
She
really trying
said,
to
so
castigate
she
me.
said you were, oh, wow.
She was really trying to tear me down and really talking so much. That was when I told her, "I'm sorry, that's not what I'm doing. This is what I just recovered from. And this is how I talk. I can't control it." And during this period, I couldn't really talk. So when I started recovering, I started learning how to make my speeches clear. I couldn't pronounce certain words. Yeah, any words like R, I couldn't pronounce them. W, M, I mean S. Those kind of words, they were difficult. So it was like me relearning how to speak again. Yeah, I had to relearn how to speak, pronounce words because when I sometimes if I say something, they'll be like, "What did you say? What did you say?" I have to repeat myself over and over again for people to get my speech. So a lot of times it was depressing. Exactly. A lot of times it was depressing having to talk to people because they will not get what I'm saying. So I have to always keep quiet until I really have to speak. Because the fact that I was stressing on maybe just a simple word, I have to like say it over and over and like, "Oh, this is what you're saying." Oh, it was tiring, it was exhausting. Okay, so how I started off with the whole healing process, yeah. Um, I hated to go out. I kind of really did isolate myself. I didn't take pictures. I'm a selfie queen. I love taking pictures, but at this point, I couldn't do any of that. So I had to start learning how to step outside again and get used to people looking at me in that odd way, like, ew, what's this? And then people that knew me are like, "Ah, Sarah, what happened?" I, I had to learn how to deal with accepting that first, as this is my new reality. I had to accept it, that this is it. And then I had to remind myself that these are my scars. I once came across a write-up that says people have scars. Yeah, everybody has scars, but you either choose to wear your scars as a scar and be ashamed of it, or you choose to wear it as a tattoo and flaunt it. So I chose to wear my scars as a tattoo.
As a tattoo. Nice.
Yeah, I chose to wear it as a tattoo. And now, when anybody, so how did I decide to flaunt it? My eyes, I decided to get shades. So I got different colors,
Okay.
different sizes,
Oh wow.
like different types, and then I became daring.
Oh,
Do you get? So if I have to go out, I
yes.
get these crazy shades and I put on, and then people are like, "Oh, I like your shades," and I'm like, "Yeah." Then it became a part of me that I made it part of my identity. Anywhere I'm going to, I wasn't wearing it like I'm covering something. I wore it like this is it. Deal with
Yeah.
it. And then everybody's the attention shifted from looking at the tiny eye to, "Oh, I like your shades." And then I could now face everybody squarely. And then when I take off the shades and you ask me, "Oh, what happened to your arm?" Like, girl, that's a survivor. I did this happened, that happened, and this is what I have to show for it. So I made it look like I was so proud of it. Like I enjoyed it. I loved it. So people that were coming at me and giving me that look of now said like, "Oh wow, this is, oh wow, you're strong, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow." So the whole narrative changed.
Oh wow.
The whole narrative changed because
Wow.
I decided not to look at it like I was ashamed of it or it made me uncomfortable. I was now facing it squarely like, you know what, this is part of me right now. I can't change it for the world. And then I also said researching on massage. So this is what I used to do. Yeah.
Mm.
So every time I'm watching a movie, I'm sitting, I'm doing this. That's what I was always doing. Massage
Wow.
my face,
Oh wow.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what, lift this, do this, like this, because that's the way they were massaging me when I was going for physiotherapy. Yeah. So I was
Okay. You
always,
went for physio.
yes, I
Okay.
did have physio.
Okay.
I found a lady, she's an amazing physiotherapist. She studied in
Oh,
Germany
fantastic.
and she's super amazing. So she really worked on me, but then it was super expensive and I couldn't keep up with the bills. So after I
Yeah.
stopped, I had to start doing it
So you had to
myself.
learn it.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
didn't have the machines to use, but then my hands were active. So when I'm watching a movie, if I'm making a call, if I'm on a video call with someone while I'm talking, it just, it naturally became a part of me. I was always just doing this. Like I,
Wow.
it, I was always. That's how
I
I said.
mean, total, Sarah. I'm in awe just listening to you. I'm in awe because I can hear, I can literally see your fight. And you know, it is a thing of, do we attribute it to the fact that you're typically a vibrant person? And because, but the thing now is, one of the things that can actually break one's spirit is when, being a vibrant person, you find yourself in such a situation. And then you're like, is this me? But the interesting thing is, I have seen people who find themselves in that situation and they cower from there and they never get back from there. It takes a lot of grit, and it takes a lot of I don't know what, which is why I consider your story really one of resilience. It takes a lot, and it's we quite have quite a few things in common. November is also a significant month for me because in November 2020 I suffered slip disc injuries, and the slip disc injuries, I'm just as vibrant as you are. I know this is your time, but I just thought to pop this in there. I'm just as vibrant and bubbly and all dancey and all active as you are. But then I find myself suffering a slip disc and being bedridden for weeks, having to be worn diapers and changing diapers in my full adult age, right? And that is shattering. When I went to the airport and then they brought me a wheelchair, and then I'm like, me sit in a wheelchair at 40? What is as in, how did I get here? You know that. And when they brought it, I refused to sit in it. My husband got me a cane, a walking stick. And they said it's a it's a long walk. We're out of the country. It's a long walk. You have to walk. I said, I'll walk it. I don't mind pausing to catch my breath and manage the pain, but I will walk it. But to sit in that wheelchair, I will not. I refuse to allow this thing define me. And it takes a lot of mental strength, a lot of, I don't know how to describe it. So I can really connect with where you are of trying to, I mean, just like when you said you couldn't afford the fees again and then you began to massage yourself. For me, I misplaced my medication and I wasn't at a place where I could get it. I needed doctor's prescription. So I began to use, I went on online to check how do you manage the pain of a slip disc naturally, and hot water and Epsom salt was my go-to. So it was that fight back is what I'm really connecting with, and I'm enthused. I'm really enthused at how you pulled through, really, and I just want to say well done. But then I want to ask, right? You had considered, you said you were working an awesome job. What was the job that you were doing? At what point did you consider it best to leave it and then pivot? And how did you choose acting? Why acting, considering what had happened to you?
I was working as a makeup artist with a media house, a very renowned media house. Yeah. And this happened there. This happened there. And it was an in house attack. And there was a certain actor. I mean, on screen, she doesn't appear like that person, but she's an amazing woman. Oh my God. I respect her, and I hope one day I'll be able to stand in a proper stage and really talk about her. Her name is Carol King. She is, she took my situation like,
Oh, Carol King.
yes, yes, she's the one. She took it up on herself like it was her daughter, that she needed to make sure this girl was fine. You know, where someone goes all out. She introduced me. She, when I couldn't eat, I told you I couldn't eat, I didn't have an appetite, so she always made sure she provided CBD oil for me. And as at then, I know that a bottle of it was about 50K. This lady provided it every time without asking for a dime. She just suggested to be doing it. She offered to be doing it. Even when it finishes, she's always asking, are you done with that bottle? Let me get you another one. During the lockdown, this woman would send her driver to come search for me till she'll come to my doorstep to give me CBD oil just to make sure I was fine. So herself and mommy were like magic, because these are external bodies, you know. So for you to have these external bodies look out for you in this way, I told myself, Sarah, you can't give up if they have not given up on you. You don't have a choice at this point. And I had to resign because it was like immediately I was bedridden for over a year. I was bedridden for over a year. I had to go to the hospital and appeal to the doctor to give me a doctor's report, because I really needed to come out. Like, it felt like the more I stayed in bed, the more I stayed at home, woke up every day and did nothing but just wake up and deal with whatever I was dealing with. I thought it wasn't really helping, and I needed to resume work to get to an active environment again and start doing stuff. And immediately I had to go appeal to the doctor. Please, I need a doctor's report, because they were not going to let me come back to work. However, they were paying me a salary, and I was feeling bad because I'm not that person that likes to be pitied, because I felt like this was being given to me out of pity at this point, and it came with a lot of talk and all of that. So I didn't really like it. I wanted to earn it. I like to earn what I get. So I had to appeal that I wanted to go back to work. And the doctor,
Wish I had a bell. I wish I had a bell here to ring it. To earn what you to get what you earn. Now that is
yes,
something that you don't hear a lot
yes,
these days. And I have had
yes.
I
Thank
just don't
you,
have a
thank
bell.
you.
It is very rare to hear that. You get a lot of people that
Yes,
earn money that they don't deserve.
yes, yes. I wanted to earn it.
But
Yeah.
oh, that's amazing. That's
So
amazing.
it really
That's
broke
amazing. I mean,
me.
that just, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of things really broke me down. Like, I'm not the type that wants to be in the sympathy community. I do not appreciate sympathy. No, that's not me. So when all of that was happening and it was coming with a lot of talk, I wasn't liking it. So I had to go to the doctor and appealed for a permit to resume work, and he gave me the doctor's report and I submitted it, and reluctantly they let me resume work. And I think getting into the environment again, it was something that I had to really fight for myself, because a lot of actors were like, oh no, you can't touch me, no you can't. I mean, they were looking at me like, is she okay, is she fit, so it was a moment where I really had to talk to myself. Mentally was really devastating. And then most of the people that know your original self, and then now they see you. Okay, imagine there was one day someone was going through my phone and saw my pictures before what happened. When they saw my pictures, like, who is that? I said, that's me. Say, are you sure? Did you get? So I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. So I was always getting that, are you sure kind of thing. They look at my profile picture on my phone and they're like, are you sure that's you? Are you sure? Like, I had to deal with answering such questions almost every other day. And after a while, you know what? I had to accept a lot of things. Mentally, I accepted, like, you know what? Deal with what you're seeing right now, but this is not going to be forever, because I'm coming out of this. I kept telling myself I'm coming out of this. So I'm a very prayerful person. I'm a very
I
prayerful
like that. The
person.
ability is called, pardon me, it is called
Yes,
self-talking. Your voice to
yes,
yourself. I'm big on
yes,
communication and I teach communication a lot. I said
yes,
communication doesn't start with the conversations you have with someone. It starts with
yeah.
the conversations you have with yourself.
With
Your
yourself,
your
that's right.
your voice has to be one of the loudest that your
Loudest.
mind hears.
Yes,
And
yes,
regardless of what is going on in your environment, you have to be able to speak loud to your mind, to your
that's right.
mindset, to a situation, to your inner confidence, to your inner
That's
will
right.
or zeal, and
That's
bring
right.
yourself out of any situation or talk yourself into any situation.
That's right.
I don't have a bell. I was going to ring it.
So I did a lot
Oh,
of
wow.
talking
I
to
mean, thank
myself.
you. Thank you so much for, yeah, yeah. Yes,
Yes,
please.
I was always talking to myself, and shortly after I resumed work again, and I was picking up, and I was really getting back on my feet. And one of the things I did again was to go register in a gym. I started working out because I needed to build muscle. So I was so skinny when I went to register. Everybody was like, "What are you working out for? What are you looking for? You want to disappear?" And I would just laugh like, you don't know what I'm looking for. So we are all here for different reasons. So while people are working out to lose weight, I was working out to build muscle. And there was just one man that got the picture. It was like, I see her routines, I see what she's doing. She's not trying to lose weight, she's trying to gain weight. And I just smiled at him. And from that moment, I think inwardly I had respect for him, and I was communicating with him well, because I felt he could see what I was doing without me having to say it. Yeah. So I started working
So,
out,
with
and
all this that
then,
happened,
yeah,
sorry, yeah. Go
yeah.
ahead, please. Go ahead,
So
please.
in March 2021, March 2021, I had an accident. 30th of March. Nothing, not okay. It looked serious because I was unconscious, and it was a bike accident. I was back to the ground again, back to the hospital, and now I was forced to get a chair, a walking stick, because they either said I got crutches or a wheelchair, and I could not subject myself to that. Anyway, fast forward to that. I went through so much pain, and after a while, the whole office, everywhere became really, really toxic, like physically toxic. And the young lady that was behind the whole drama going on with my whole life, she actually
Yeah.
approached me and was like, "Oh, you refuse to die? Wow! So you made it out of this. You
Okay,
refuse to
like
die."
outrightly.
Outrightly, physically, like
Sorry,
you and I.
are we speaking categorically now?
Not categorically, physical conversation. She walks up to me and tells me, "You refuse to die." And at that point, I was like, what are we really struggling for? why this hits? Why you attacking me in everywhere? And you just can't. And when I resumed work, I noticed that she was very upset that I did resume work. And each time, and that lady never reached out to me when I was down. Each time I made a significant improvement in my health, she would call me that day. And so I'm very sensitive to I'm very sensitive spiritually. So when I saw that each time she reaches out is when I make a significant recovery, I decided never to pick her calls, never to respond to her. So she was really shocked when I resumed work. And she was like, "You refuse to die. Wow. You must be like a cat with 9 lives." And I looked at her, I was like,
Yeah, so I want to ask, right?
okay.
What aspect, and I want to know the particular, because it seemed like as though your recovery was really fast, and you took it upon yourself to do extraordinary things that typically
Yes.
people in that position may just lie down and wait for the doctor to
Yeah.
tell them to move. But you went out
Yes.
of your way. You were giving yourself self massage. You enrolled
Yes.
in a gym. What aspects of your recovery, of the recovery process, surprised you the most?
From December 2019, I just couldn't stand up at all. So Christmas Day happens to be my birthday. So that was the most devastating birthday Christmas I had ever experienced. It's the best period of my in a year for me. My birthday, Christmas. I love Christmas with everything I hold valuable. So when it happened, it was like this Christmas is going to be the worst. I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't even eat. And afang soup is my delicacy. I love afang. And every Christmas, whilst the whole world is having rice and killing all the goats and everything, I am stuffing everything in that pot of afang. And this Christmas, I couldn't make afang. I couldn't eat afang. My brother took it on himself to make afang, but I couldn't eat it. So
Where
it
are
was,
you from? Where are you
I'm from
from?
Cross River State.
Okay, hence the
Yes,
afang. Now it makes
yes.
sense.
Yes, so I had to go all out. And so when this happened, I told myself, no, this can't go on. I need to stand up from this bed. I need to be able to use the restroom on my own without being carried to the restroom like a baby. I need to be able to stand up and do things. So I will try to stand up and I'll fall back down. And I will stand again. I was stubborn about it. I decided, see, my mouth was not keeping quiet. My head was talking, my mouth was talking. So I am someone that is very religious. I grew up believing that you can command things to happen with your mouth. So I always told my legs, I said, you, these legs, you belong to me. I own you. So I decide how you function and what you do. You cannot decide not to walk and I will accept it. You belong to me. I am your master, and whatever I want is what you would do. So I started speaking life to my legs. And then I
So
started
this is
quoting,
part. So this is part of self-talking.
yes, yes. And then I started
This
reminding
is part
God.
of, yes, part of self-talking that we're talking about.
Yes, I said reminding God
Yeah.
the scriptures. My Bible tells me that I should speak life. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Those who love it will eat its fruit. So I said speaking back those words, and then I'll tell God, you are a God of integrity. You are not man. You said, let man be the liar. Let only you be true. You have never lied. You can't start today. You have treated worst cases. You have brought dead people back to life. I'm alive. I'm not yet dead. So these legs, whatever is making them unable to walk, they have to respond to me. So I spoke so much to myself and I told myself, I can make it. I can make it. That period, I think I spoke to myself more than I spoke to people. So whilst I was trying not to talk to every other person because, of course, they were a distraction and my speech was not even helping in any way, I was talking to myself and to God and to my body. So each time I try to stand up and I fall back down, I would cry, but then I'll remind myself the righteous could fall seven times, but you will still stand. So when that happens, I still kept trying and trying. I would take the step and I'll tell myself, I'm not going to recover limping. I'm not going to recover walking maimed. I am not going to be disfigured in any way. I'm going to recover fully and wholly, like nothing ever happened. So these scars, all of this is just my tattoo. So I'm going to wear it in style. So that was how I moved on with it.
I'm just taking note of all the things that you're saying, and I hope that whoever is listening, whoever is watching, that you'd be able to draw some strength from this, because in the middle of it,
Yeah.
we can't. One of the things I like to say is we can't quite determine what happens or what doesn't happen to us, but we can
Yes.
determine how we choose to
To
respond
be.
to what
That's right.
happens to us or what doesn't happen to us. Yeah.
That's
And
right.
from everything you've been saying, just listening to you, it's been, I hear this, I'm not going down here, I'm not going down without a fight. And I have a mantra
Yeah.
for my mantra is never give up until you win. Even if you don't win, finish strong. Right? It's
Yes.
better to die trying to win than to die
Yeah.
doing nothing, just being static.
Yeah.
And just the fact that you kept engaging is really inspiring, really,
Thank
really
you.
inspiring. I just want to say well done. Now,
Thank
while we're
you.
trying, well, as we wind down, I just have a few questions I would like to ask. Now that you're in acting, right? You say you act, you dance, and do all of that. Do you find it therapeutic? How do you feel about acting?
Before I went into makeup artistry, I always wanted to be an actor. I studied theater arts. And back
Oh, okay.
yes, so back then when I was still trying to navigate my way through the industry, I had a lot of directors and producers that tried to take advantage of my ignorance, in the sense that they tell you things like, oh, I remember a very profound director, producer, award-winning producer telling me stuff like, how badly do you want it? Talent is not enough. You need to want it so much that you're willing to give something to get what you want. And I am this woman that takes yes, yes, yes.
What is something that people in the creative department struggle with?
Oh, they
I'm tempted
struggle
to want
with.
to ask it here.
So this is what a lot of creatives, this is what they struggle with, saying no, being able to say no.
Wow.
Yes, because a lot of times you see yourself, you go for an audition, you earn the role, you get the role, and then just from nowhere, like this,
It leaves
you
you.
lost it. And then you ask
Wow.
yourself, what did I do? I thought I had this. Maybe you've even been going for rehearsal, you're going through the process, or someone else went to the back door, had a chat on the bed. That's what I call it. They had a chat on the bed, and the narrative changes. And then they come back to you and start telling you things like, maybe you should take this other one. Or so they leave you with either you join or you lose it. So I
So
took
it's
this pride
typically a
when I
situation
started
of,
yes.
yeah.
So when I started the entertainment work, yeah. When I was in Cross River State in Calabar during the Christmas Carnival, the Christmas festival, which starts from 1st of December till 31st December. So every day of the year, of the month, yeah, there are shows being staged on a daily basis. And people, it was like then, it was like the largest stage where an artist can showcase themselves. And I used to dance as a solo performer on this stage. And I had a lot of big men that were like, who is who? Saying a lot of girls used to sleep their way to be on that stage. And I took that pride in me that none of them was ever going to sit in their corner and boast with my name in their mouth when I'm on that stage and say, I got her there because she opened her legs to me. So it was a decision I had taken way back. that I'm not going to earn any position because I sold my integrity. I grew up not having money. I didn't grow up in a rich background. So my integrity is all I have and I hold it jealously. So when I got into entertainment, I told myself I wasn't going to be that woman that they're like, oh, she sold herself all through. I'm not in a hurry. I have all the patience, I have all the time to walk through the process. And I was willing to put in the work, to go through any stress. If it meant working out, I was ready to work out. I have built myself to the point that I'm not too desperate to get anything that would make me compromise certain values just because I want to get this thing. So when I wanted to start acting then, and I was getting all these demands coming on me, I said, you know what? The movie industry is large. There's so many ways. If I'm not in front of the camera, I can be behind the camera. And whilst I'm behind the camera, I'm learning things that I need to do by the time I get back to the front of the camera.
So that is what, let me just, so to preempt you, that is what led you to makeup,
Yes.
to being a makeup artist on the
Yes.
back of the camera.
Yes.
Wow. So interestingly, you have indirectly answered all the questions I wanted to ask
Okay.
just by
Okay.
touching different themes. So this,
Okay.
for example, I was going to ask, what would you tell someone that goes through the challenge of the ailment you went through? What would you tell them? And in just listening to you, you have told them. What would you tell someone that is trying to navigate their professional, right? Because their career and their professional life, you have told them, hold
Yes.
on to your integrity. This may
Yes.
not be a door. There may be another door. There may be a window. There may be a crack. I don't have
Exactly.
to start from the front. I don't mind
Yes.
going behind to work my way through
That's
one
right.
day because I see myself correctly,
That's
because
right.
I have a picture of who I can become without
That's right.
burning my integrity. I will
That's
make
right.
it to the front.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, you
Thank you
are
so
you
much.
are a ball, truly, truly, and not mincing words, not trying to blow your trumpet or make you feel excessively out of this world with yourself, but you do deserve the accolades. You do deserve the
Thank you so
recognition
much.
for
Thank you.
someone with a resilient spirit. And
Thank
it's
you.
not about having the stage, having to climb a stage first or get notoriety where, oh, she's known as this resilient person. I want to thank you for being resilient in your corner, in a corner where no one knows you yet, and I add yet
Yes.
intentionally.
Yes.
And it's interesting how by the time you become, when you get into your bloom, some people may think it's an overnight success. Some people think, oh,
Yes.
where did she come from? They didn't know, they
That's
wouldn't
right.
know that you have worked through and worked all the way. And I just want to say thank you for staying
Thank
true
you.
to your gift. Thank you for fighting life back. I like to say that, people say at first that when life throws you lemons, you make lemonade. Well, that is just one of the options, because you need to have sugar, you need to have water, and you need to know how to make lemonade.
That's
But there
right.
are other options like catching it and throwing it back.
Back.
There's the option of dodging it,
Okay.
right? There's
That's right.
right. So there are options.
That's
There's the
right.
option for some people, they allow it to just keep hitting them up until it
That's right.
buries them, right? Whatever, and I've seen you, just listening to you. It seems like when life threw you lemons, you did a few of these things. You fought back. Catching it and throwing it back is fighting
Throwing it
back.
right back.
You
Yeah.
fought back. Yes, you fought back, and then after fighting back, the ones that still hit, you pick them up and turn them to
To
lemonades. You
lemonades.
learned, just hearing how you took yourself to learn. You watched the physiotherapist, so you weren't just there while the physiotherapist was working. You were also
Yes.
learning, oh, the day the physiotherapist is not here, what will I do? And then you took
Yes.
yourself to the gym, trying to build yourself. So, oh, I need to build this muscle, so that trying to make it work for yourself even when no one is there. And that's a deep level of
Yes.
awareness, which
Oh
I
God.
want to commend you for and thank you for. And but yeah,
Thank you
right.
so
I
much.
know how that this can be. I just want to say thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
staying
much.
true and
Thank you.
thank you for joining us tonight. And this is just to thank every other person that may be having any kind of challenge. So I'm going to ask you, what will be your final word? A final word.
Don't ever give up. Like, don't ever give up. No matter what happens, don't give up. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. So Sarah has said it all. It's almost like as though Sarah has taken my mantra. But like I always say that life will throw you curveballs and you never quite know when it will throw you curveballs. But what
Yeah.
like I would repeat is that no matter what comes or goes, no matter what gives in or doesn't, you never give up until you win. And even if you don't win, ensure by all means that you finish strong. And finishing
Yes.
strong is the goal. Ensure
Yes.
that you keep on moving and that you keep on giving your best to life, like Sarah has given and is still giving her best to life. So
Thank
thank you
you.
very much for joining this session.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a fantastic day, everyone.